Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Nick's here from Gimme-Market Reviews, and today I'm going to be talking about a slightly older model fairway wood. This is the SIM by TaylorMade. I'm going to be talking about why it's still in my bag, 5 years old now as a model. Did that one pretty well. It's great, it goes exactly as far as I need it to. It still, for me, offers great value, and he's called it, so he's going to have to play it now, isn't he? That was interesting. I'm going to be talking to you about why I still use this fairway wood, why I still think it has some value in the market, and why I think they're actually a great bargain that you might be able to get hold of secondhand right now. I'm going to hit some shots, talk you through the data, a little bit of an explanation about the technology that was in this head, how it differs to the modern tech that you're seeing in the market right now, and we'll talk about why it's still in the bag. All right, so welcome back to the channel. Down here at Bourne Golf Centre today, using the Foresight Sports simulator behind me. And I'm going to talk today about a golf club that's currently in my bag, but it's 5 years old now as a model, which is unbelievable. Makes me feel quite old actually, thinking about it, but still absolutely love these fairway woods. I'm going to talk to you today about the TaylorMade SIM Titanium. Now, I've got three here, as you can see, in varying different lofts. I've got the rocket head at 14 degrees. I've got the standard 3-wood at 15 degrees, and I've got one of their 5-woods at 19 degrees. And I put these in play back in 2020. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen any reason to get them out the bag. I've obviously hit all the latest product now, but these still for me really perform. And I think they add great value. And if you could get hold of some of these secondhand, I think they could add some great value to your bag as well. So I'm gonna hit some shots. I've got some previous data from when I've done reviews on the Elite, the GT2, the latest QI35, the G440. So I'm going to compare the data from those sessions to today, just to show you numbers-wise how they stack up, and talk to you a little bit of the technology that's in this TaylorMade SIM head. So quite unique, and as you hear from in the title, SIM Titanium. So where this differed at the point in time when it came out to some of the other fairway woods in the market was this has a titanium face to it. So what titanium does is lighter as a material, generally thinner as a material as well in the face, so it enables the manufacturers to up ball speed and lower spin. So you typically see a lot of titanium in driver heads, but you don't always see them in fairway wood heads. And so for me, when TaylorMade brought this particular head to market, I was really interested because I'm not the quickest player in the world in terms of the standard that I play at, in terms of my handicap. So I'm always looking for that sort of advantage if I can get it from ball speed, in terms of the models that I play as well. So knowing what I know about titanium, I was really curious to try and put these in the bag when I first heard about them back 5 years ago. Also, this particular SIM model came off the back of the M5 and the M6, which were hugely popular for TaylorMade. For me, TaylorMade always made great fairway woods, and M5, M6 were hugely popular. You know, Tiger had M5 in the bag, and up until recently, actually, I know Justin Rose also put the M6 back in his bag for the recent Masters as well, or in and around those Masters tournaments, the Masters tournament earlier in 2025, which is really interesting. That they went back to a historical model. Typically, from a fitting perspective, fairway woods have always been, certainly on tour, hard to get out of players' bags. Once a player gets something that they feel comfortable hitting off the deck and off the tee, it can be a club that is notoriously they want to keep in. Also, there's not necessarily, you would have said the upgrades each season in technology, in R&D, like you see in drivers or even in irons, for example. So because of that, a player kind of knows, and a bit like myself, I guess, I know that with these heads, where I am is really where I need to be. I'm not particularly leaving anything else on the table. There's some fantastic product out this year. If you remember, if you see that fairway wood review, which I'll tag above here, I hit the QI35 really well, which is obviously a distant relation to what I've got here in the SIM. But I wouldn't say the numbers were any different to what I'm experiencing with this particular model right here. So let me get into it. In terms of the head here, you've got, at this point in time, they had stainless steel. They brought the V-sole back, which was quite interesting, which I'll talk to you guys about now. So it's basically this sole shape that we've got in here. And that was to help with drag, certainly, so into impact as well. So when you're hitting shots, particularly off the deck, that's going to help with the amount of drag that you get through the turf. And V-Steel came out over 20 years ago now. It was hugely popular, the V-Steel was the first time that we really saw that shape there. And yeah, you know, they brought it back effectively. It's still in play as well to a certain extent within the TaylorMade brand. This had the speed pocket here as well here, which helps with face compression, which again is going to give you more ball speed. That was something that they sort of effectively took over with the merger when Adams Fairway woods became part of the TaylorMade sort of family. And that as a technology was something that they took from Adams Golf, I believe. In terms of the head here, so they had the carbon head here and the two-tone sort of face, which I actually quite like. That little bit of white helps me line the club face up to target. Also, this was an iteration of twist face as well. So again, you're helping with a little bit of that bulge and roll to try and make your toe strikes and your heel strikes go straighter. And again, I'll take all the help I can possibly get, but that technology has been proven to help with dispersion as well. So really interesting. So, and as I mentioned, I've got my 3 lofts here as well, and I use them in different situations. I'll talk to you a little bit about why it's maybe worth exploring different lofts with your fairway woods. As I mentioned, I've got the stronger Rocket fairway wood head here, which is 14 degrees, slightly different shape to it, slightly different sizing to it. And this really was something where if I saw myself hitting a lot of fairway woods off the tee, you know, as a support club for driver, maybe driver was a little bit too long for that particular golf course that I was going to be playing, you know, in terms of dog legs, it was getting me into bad situations. I would typically drop the Rocket in, and then I had a backup, a support club to hit off the tee. So I'll hit some shots with this. Then you've got your standard 3 wood head, which is 15 degrees. This would be one where if I'm going to play a golf course where I'm going to hit into some longer par 5s, and I'm going to hit off the deck as well as off the tee, I might drop in the 15 degree. This is probably the one that was in the bag more often. The Rocket would be something that I would rotate in occasionally. Sometimes if I went and played links golf, for example, I would then bring the Rocket out, you know, that tight links turf, longer par 5s or even longer par 4s with that wind the way it is. I might have to use more fairway woods depending on how well I was driving it on that particular day. So I would rotate them based on that sort of basis there, but the 15 degree would stay in more often than not. And then I went through a bit of a period where I stopped using hybrids, and then I effectively sort of moved from a long iron into a 5 wood. So this is their 19 degree. So this would sit technically from a loft perspective where 3 iron would be, or where a 3 hybrid would be. I just found personally that I didn't overdraw the fairway wood as much as I did with hybrids, which tend to be a little bit more draw biased. So that's why I moved into a 5 wood, and it's been a really good addition to my bag. Goes much higher than obviously the 3 wood does. So if I'm ever in a less than perfect lie on the fairway, I'll typically come back down into my 5 wood and then just play for position, you know. Shaft in all of them, I've got the Diamond. It's actually stock option, which is quite unusual for me. I've generally gone to aftermarket shafts, but actually really enjoyed the stock option shaft that came with these clubs as well. So you've got the Diamond and Dia-LED 75 Limited S. I've got this in the S Flex here. And again, really enjoyed the feel of this shaft. You know, weight-wise was perfect for me. It's sort of 75 grams. Pretty stable as a profile for me. So I actually felt it complemented the head really well. So I didn't feel like I had to go aftermarket, particularly with any of the shafts in these. But yeah, let me hit some shots with it. I'll be able to compare it then against what I've already hit in the market. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I've got the SIM Titanium Rocket 14, got this set at 14 as well. So as I mentioned earlier on, this would be mainly like a tee club I would have used this for. As I'm gonna hit some shots now, what I'm expecting to see in terms of the data is I want it to piggyback on the back of my driver. So I'm typically in the early sort of 260s for my carry with driver based on my club head speed. So I want this to be 260 total, probably around 20, maybe 15 yards less than that if I really get hold of one. So 240, 245 carry off the tee. Would expect to be a little bit lower than that. What I typically found with this particular wood for me is it did give great launch and lower spin based on the weighting in the sole of the golf club, you know, about 80 grams worth of weight there in the stainless steel sort of V-steel shape here. And then being the titanium face, again, that lower spin ups ball speed. So I'm gonna hit some now, show you what this would get to for me. This is how I would expect to sort of gap somebody's top end of their bag as well in terms of their fairway wood. So let's have a little look. Hit that one pretty well. there you go. So nice example there. So yeah, 245 carry, 263 total. And that's really what that club would do for me very nicely. If driver was misbehaving, or maybe if, you know, 280, 290 was just a run out and that was too far, this would really give me something that I could just effectively play back from that position there. So, and yeah, it's great. It goes exactly as far as I need it to. I don't need any more ball speed than that per se. I don't need any more distance. So it really fitted in that part of the bag really well for me. I've enjoyed using that. Certainly off the deck, it's a little bit more difficult to hit. What I'll do is let me try and hit one there for you now. But typically I found this one, it was a little bit more difficult to launch. Actually hit that one pretty well. Yeah, a little bit of a pull, but actually it's gone a little bit further at 272. But I just felt a little bit safer with the actual 15 degree in my hands, but I could use that if I went to a links golf course or somewhere where I needed to flight it lower, played in a bit of wind, for example, a couple of little trips over to Ireland, up into Scotland, then that was a perfect fairway wood for me to use there. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is it goes exactly as far as I need this to go. It's going exactly as far as the other fairways that I tried in the market that I did in my other review a couple of weeks back now. Yeah, so still for me offers great value, and you know, you can pick these up in the market for 140, 150 quid nowadays. So definitely worth considering. I'm going to hit some of the free wood, show you exactly what I'm talking about with that golf club as well. Okay, so I've got my free wood in here now. This is the 15 degrees, set at 15 degrees. Head shape exactly the same as what I had in that Rocket, the 2 wood I'd almost call it. But I always felt a little bit more reliable with this one off the deck. Again, shape-wise, you know, they had nice round shapes in this particular sim series that they did. And I just found that they sit behind the ball really square for me. Quite like that little bit of white that they've got around the sort of carbon crown look. That always allowed me to feel like I could get that face square to my target line. But let me just hit a couple off the deck for you, because that is predominantly, I guess, off a tee, off the deck is how I would use this golf club. Just always found it that a little bit easier to launch than the Rocket version of the fairway wood. Very similar yardage, again, 264 total. That's exactly what I'm after there. So little draw. So yeah, two pretty similar shots there. Really easy to hit off the deck, and that's why I really enjoyed using the 15 degree model. Maybe a little bit more than the 14 degree model. Just gave me a little bit more flight, a little bit more spin, a little bit more stability. I'll break the numbers down in a second as to what the difference is between the two heads. But yeah, it still feels quick off the face. It still gives me the look that I'm after. And that's why 5 years later, still in the bag. Okay, and then just to finish, we're going to hit some with the 5 wood here. So again, I'm expecting this to be about 20 yards shorter. So I'm looking for a 240 total here, which is around about where the carry yardage of my 3 wood is. And again, it's just going to bridge then that top end of the bag for me. Then I start moving into my long iron stuff. Again, really enjoyed this golf club. It's 19 degrees, set a little bit lower than that actually. Just brought that down to 18 degrees. But I've played with this before where I've knocked it back up to 19 degrees to give me a little bit more height, depending on the golf course, depending on what I'm sort of looking for this golf club to do for me. It's a slightly smaller profile than the 3 wood, as you typically expect and you get from the manufacturers as they go from sort of 3 wood down to 7 wood or 9 wood nowadays. But I found this club really useful. I can actually move it around. It's quite versatile. I can hit fades, draws with it. And it's been a really nice addition to the bag for me. So I'm just going to hit a couple just to show you the yardage that it goes. That was interesting. So I just cut that one up a little bit there as well. But that was about 225, 240 total in the end. A little bit of an example of a little fade that I can hit, which is quite nice. Takes a little bit of yardage off it, goes a bit higher, spins a bit more. That one's gone 233. So again, it gives me the versatility there. Let me see if I can just hit a little low draw as well, just to show you. He's called it, so he's gonna have to play it now, isn't he? Maybe overdrew that one just a little bit there, but again, I do feel like I can move this club around, so it's been very, very versatile for me. Got a little bit more yardage out of that one, so then if I need to, I do feel like I can hit draws, hit fades. add a bit, subtract a little bit. It's been a really nice addition to me. And I think if you're looking for a little bit more height in your game, I'd definitely recommend one of the high lofted fairway woods. But going to break down the data now and just go through a little bit of analysis on what the different heads do for me and why I'm still playing that SIM Titanium head. Okay, so I'm just going to throw some data boxes below. I'm going to break it down into the rocket head, the standard 3-wood head for me, and then the 5-wood head. And I'm also going to include the data from the QI35 core model, which I tested earlier on in the year as well. So you can see main difference here, rocket head, a little bit lower launch there, a degree different to where we are with the 15-degree head, but the spin's actually pretty similar. And I would say the spin, for some people, that might be a little bit on the low side, and that's where actually the titanium model would probably be best for your quicker club head speed players, I would say, somebody who doesn't suffer from getting the ball up in the air, because spin's actually going to benefit that particular golfer. So I would say here, the titanium head's definitely aimed at your quicker club head speeds and for somebody who is efficient at getting the ball off the deck with fairway woods. And then in terms of off the tee as well as looking for that additional yardage, as somebody that already generates plenty of ball speed, plenty of velocity, they're going to benefit from that rocket head and probably even the 15-degree head there. Now in the 5-wood there, you can see because of the loft, the spin has now gone up again for me, so it gives me a much higher apex and much softer flight as well. Comparing how they compare to the latest QI35, very, very similar as you can see here. So 5 years later, the QI35 is a lovely product, but I haven't seen that massive jump in this part of certainly the golf club designs, the R&D, where I feel like I have to rush down to the shops and grab that QI35 model. As good as it was, and as much as I enjoyed hitting it in the review, it didn't give me anything addition to where I am with this SIM model at the moment, and I still really enjoy the look and the feel of this particular head. So that's why it's still in the bag for me right now. I think if you're in the market and you're looking, if you can get hold of one of these SIM Titaniums, if you're somebody who does tend to balloon the ball up and you're looking for a little bit of additional ball speed, there might be a great model for you to try and get out, test with it, hit with it. It's done a great job for me personally. If you're somebody who needs a little bit more flight, they did do a max head in this particular model as well. I found that sat a little bit close for me. It was a little bit more draw-bys, but that would be great for the guy who struggles with getting the ball off the deck a little bit more, or if you somebody who slices fairway woods and loses it to the right, the fact that that particular max head was a little bit more towed in and it was a little bit more draw-bys as a head might be perfect for you. But that's why the Sims are still in the bag for me. Really enjoyed them. Can't see them being moved out anytime soon. Do you guys play one of the TaylorMade Sims? Have you used these in the past? What was your experience with this particular product? Do you still have it in the bag like I do? Be really interested to hear off you guys. And as always, if you've enjoyed the video today, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel because it really helps us. And also we'd love to hear from you guys. So any feedback or any other reviews you'd like me to do, please pop them in the comments to this video or any other videos that we've put on the channel already. And I'll make sure I get around to shooting those for you guys very soon. Hope you've enjoyed that. Happy golf and look forward to seeing you in the next one. See you soon.